So, Kim, um, I'm curious, um, talking about, uh, I think Christy was talking about the importance of allowing other people the opportunity to offer care, support, to be present, and realize that that's not a burden for them. That's actually sharing the joy of being present with somebody. Where are you with that, you and your sister, with your mom?
Currently, we are relying on because I live an hour and a half away from
Mhm,
my mom.
mhm.
My sister's in Atlanta, so she's
Oh,
in completely different state.
yeah.
So we are really behind the scenes, have a good communication with her neighbors that see her on a daily
Ah,
basis, which is helpful for us. However, I don't want to overburden them either, but
mhm,
they love mom. They are, really appreciative. I'm appreciative of them, but they're
mhm.
very generous in wanting to help and make sure mom's needs are met and that she's safe, just like my sister and I. So,
Yeah,
they've been phenomenal, and
yeah.
I'm very grateful to have them
Mhm.
in our little behind the scenes.
Yes.
Mom doesn't know we have that communication, but it's important and it's
And
helpful
so
for my
you're
sister and I.
mhm,
And I think for them, as they see progressions, I think it's important for them to know that my sister and I are aware and we're involved and we have a plan and we're
mhm.
not turning
And
a
it's
deaf
not
ear
like
on
this
it.
is a forever plan. This is the plan for
Today's
now,
plan,
and
right?
it's the plan because she's doing well, and she loves her neighborhood, and she loves her neighbors, and you're involved, and you're keeping track of how things are going.
Right.
Um, do you have those next steps that you're starting to consider and where that goes next? And is your mom on that list or
I I at one point asked mom,
Mm,
because she was upset about doing the
mm,
memory assessments.
mhm,
I asked her, "Why do you think Wendy and I are asking you to do this?" And
mhm.
she's like, "I really don't know."
Oh,
And I was trying to explain to her, we want to make sure moving forward that you're living independently
mhm,
and you're living independently safely.
uh-huh,
And if that becomes a situation where you're not able to live alone, would you be receptive to having somebody come in the home and support you? Would you be open to me moving in and helping?
mhm,
Would you be open to looking at communities in your area and in my area? Because
mhm,
an hour and a half away is a little bit a ways. If
mhm,
it's an emergency, I
mhm.
can't be there, in 2 minutes. So,
So I hear you providing her with 4 alternatives. Um, you stay where you are and have help in the house,
right,
paid help in the house. Um, you stay where you are and I move into your house.
right,
We look at a community setting where you would move into a community near you, but it would be a community where you would move into that community for
right,
support and care, or go near me and move into a community.
correct,
So those are the 4 options.
right.
And so when you provided those to your mom, where did she go with that?
She was open to having paid care come in because
Okay.
she's had that in the past for
Uh-huh.
other
Uh-huh.
situations,
Okay,
and
familiar.
she's receptive to looking at a community near her and near me.
Okay. So
What's
the one that was not picked was
Yeah,
you moving
me.
in. Did she give the reasoning behind that, or
No.
she
I
just
mean,
said,
she didn't say no,
"Uh-huh."
but
It wasn't on her
we
list.
talked more about the other 3 options
Okay.
versus that one.
Mhm.
And she gave me that look, like, "Why would you do
Eh,
that?"
yeah.
Um, I think what's interesting about, the looking at communities,
Mhm.
she's more receptive to doing this with a friend and touring her local
Uh-huh.
community.
Uh-huh.
When I offer, "Hey, why don't you and I go look at some places or have Wendy come up and
Uh-huh.
look at some places?" She's, "Oh, I wanna do it with my friend. We've already
Mhm.
talked about doing that." So there's still kind of that pushback a little bit.
You 2 are not the boss of me. I wanna take charge of this part of this transition a little bit.
Exactly.
And so and you go, I'm assuming at this point you went, "Oh, okay. Well, so do you guys have a time when you're thinking about doing that? And so maybe I could ask after you go what you thought of it?"
I haven't asked that question yet.
Uh-huh.
Um, my question has been, Well, no, I lie. I have asked, when are y'all going?
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay,
There's no,
so you did this with 4 options. So I'm going to propose, is it possible you could say, "Mom, I'm wondering which of your friends are you thinking of going with? And is it possible to get them to commit to a specific time?" Like, because I think sometimes they have to have, you have to have reservations to go.
right.
So I wonder whether or not you or your friend might go ahead and make that up. Just go ahead and get it done so you know what it looks like, whether you think it's an option or not.
I could absolutely approach
Yeah.
her with that.
And so, what am I encouraging you to do? I guess that's the question. What's the encouragement you're hearing here?
Make her commit.
Why do you think that is?
So she can write it on her calendar and make it happen.
Yeah, is she a detail lady? Does she
She's
like to be in
detailed.
control?
Everything is written down now. If it's not on her calendar,
Yeah. It
it
doesn't have to
it
happen.
gets missed.
Yeah.
Prescriptions, pick
Mhm.
up your prescription. So
Mhm.
a lot of self notations.
Mhm. Mhm. And so then it becomes her doing it, not you trying to get her to do
Right.
it. Yeah, cool. So the other thing is, how is she spending time now? Because I think I remember you saying something about she's a pretty active lady.
She's very active. She goes to the YMCA 3 times a week.
Mhm.
She is involved in a card club, a
Mhm.
card group, and garden club. She is, involved in her church, very involved in her church, altar guild. So she
Mhm.
has things that are very routine.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
What we're seeing is things are out of that routine. Um,
Oops.
that's when she gets a little flustered. And also, those routine things are getting, she used to be involved in a sewing group, a
Mm.
mahjong group. So we're seeing those activities get less and less
Mhm.
because it's harder for her to process and do those activities.
Yeah. So she's subtracting, not substituting. So
Correct.
it's like
Correct.
something new is harder for her to take on than the things that are familiar. And when the familiar things get sort of challenging, her strategy is to, I'm going to take a step back from that.
Right.
So as you're thinking about that, does it seem as though helping her steer toward communities makes more sense than helping her steer toward home in the house?
I think personally, a community is going
Mhm.
to offer her a bigger world than what she even
Mhm.
currently has, which
Mm.
is, a very social world.
Right.
But there's going to become a point where she's not going to be able to drive. She's
Mhm.
not going to be able to get to these garden event,
No.
these social events, and she's not going to be able to host them when she's
Mhm.
expected to host them.
Mhm.
So, there's a lot of things
Yeah.
that are going to change if she stays in her own
If she
home.
stays in her own home. So it may not ultimately be the best option for her.
Mm,
And that gets tricky because the further into this condition you get, the less transition into new and different goes well, usually
right,
for people. So making a choice relatively soon for something that's going to be longer lasting for
right,
her makes more sense to you. Now, the question is, can you have it make sense for who and where she is?
right.
Yeah. So as you think about those opportunities and that, um, have you started experiencing some moments of almost role reversal where you find yourself wanting to be your mother, and she be the, like get her to do what you want her to do? Or was that ever a role that you and your mother had where your mother told you what to do and you were expected to do it?
I mean, she was, I don't
Uh-huh.
know, we were just a very easygoing
Uh-huh.
family.
She was easygoing, so
So,
she was never really bossy or pushy.
no, she was a
Yeah.
very laid back mom,
So you had a lot of role
but
modeling.
had expectations.
Okay. Is that true with you too?
I'm more controlling.
Oh. So it's not so much a role reversal as being careful that you don't try to be the mother in the relationship.
Right. My sister keeps reminding me, Kim, be mindful.
Mm,
Be mindful of mom. Be
mhm,
mindful of, possibly how she's experiencing
mhm,
this. And, but I did also share, I'm like, I'm kind of the one that needs to be a little direct. You can be
yeah,
the mindful one, and
mhm.
we, need to work a
So
little bit
we gotta
together.
figure out how to give her the support from the back, and that's your
Right.
sister, but how to push it up just a little bit so she doesn't sink.
Right. But I
Because
think
you're,
being mindful is instead of me telling her
Mhm.
what to do, asking her.
This or this, which of
Right.
these? You help select the friend, but then, so which friend is she picking?
Well, I don't know. The backstory is that, oh, I went to the coffee house and ran into a friend that I don't see often at the Y, and we talked about doing this together because we're both interested in seeing this
Ah,
community. So I don't know who this is. So yeah, I don't,
yikes.
it's a little bit different approach
Yeah.
because I know a lot of her friends, but I don't know who she was
Which one
referring
she was
to.
referring to.
Right.
So trying to negotiate. So there's a lot of new negotiation skills you're going to be building.
Right.
And is your sister good at negotiating?
I think our angle to this is probably going to be my sister will come up for a visit and, hey, while we're here, would you like to go look at a couple places and see if she's open to it?
Because she's more the support. And if you were to do it, it would feel like a push up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So trying to figure that out. So you work in your team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now it's my sister and I, her neighbors.
Mhm.
That's our little
The
close
tight group.
team. But
And
I've
are you-
also taken advantage of the Martha W. Goodson team who have helped us tremendously and have provided us with a lot of support groups. And I take advantage of where I work. They have a employee support group, so I'm taking advantage of that. So those are some things I'm doing for myself, but also to help me, you know, with my knowledge to
Yeah.
better, even though I've got 30 years in this industry, now I'm a daughter.
It's a real different thing when it's
I'm a
family.
daughter,
Yep.
you know, and
Yeah.
a mom that has this disease.
And
So
it's up close and it's very personal, and how you say what you say matters. And
yes, absolutely.
yeah,
I don't want to get her on my bad side again.
that wasn't that much fun.
No, it wasn't.
And there's one thing to be sort of the one that holds the line, but it's a whole nother thing to
Yeah.
feel like she doesn't like you because of how you handled something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to respect,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Yeah.
I still want to allow her the opportunity to make choices.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it is her life after
Right.
all. And you're there to support. And that's really, I'm
But-
really grateful for
Yeah.
all the awareness that you're building of how important that is. So thank you
You're
for
welcome.
what
Thank
you're
you.
doing with your mom. And thanks for coming in today. And thanks for sharing this out to help others.
Thank you for the opportunity to share our story,
Yeah.
our journey.
Yeah. Thanks, Kim.